Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. What is good? What is good? What is good, ladies and gentlemen? Of course, you know who I be. Good Doc, Dr. Mike TV, back again, once again. About to have some fun with this one tonight, guys. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. But if this is your first time to the Dr. Mike TV channel, welcome yourselves by dropping a like. Definitely make sure you guys caress, molest, and distress yourself all over that like button. It wants it, it needs, and most definitely has to have it. If you guys want to support in any capacity, please feel free to do so. But of course, the good doc is happy and blessed you choose to come through. Spend a little bit of time with your boy today. Now you're then. Before we get to business, ladies and gentlemen, give me some ones, give me some thumbs so that I can make sure you guys can hear me loud and clear. All right? I need some ones or I need some thumbs so that I know you guys are hearing me loud and clear. Little technical difficulty with the live stream in the beginning, so that's why I just want to do the quick, house rules, little housekeeping. Definitely make sure everything is coming through loud and clear. All right, if you guys can hear me, let's lock in. All right, it looks like we're good. Shout out to Wesley and my boy Cal. Appreciate y'all locking in. Appreciate your ones. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get a little spicy tonight, man. This is gonna be one of the fun ones for sure. So before we begin, ladies and gentlemen, I wanna take you guys back to a couple of hours ago. Posted a video talking about a article that was shared with me by my boy Mike's Philippines journey. Now he shared this particular article with me probably about a couple weeks back, maybe a week or so back. And he told me that he was gonna, hey Wesley, appreciate you, bro, appreciate you. But my man told me he was like, I'm gonna do a video on this, and he was like, yo, Doc, man, you gotta do a video on this one as well. And I was hesitant because I was like, man, Mike, you dropped the video, bro. Do your thing. You're probably gonna kill it. I don't need my own spin on it. So I wasn't really gonna make the video that you guys saw earlier today. But he was like, yeah, man, I think they'll appreciate your approach on it. So I was like, fuck it, let me go ahead and do it. So that particular article in discussion is the one that talks about the time spent on Pornhub by Filipino people, Filipinos in general, and the fact that Filipinas, by and large, spend more time on these particular sites than the actual men do. Now, I hope that you guys had an opportunity to read the article. It breaks down some statistics and things like that that I found actually to be rather insightful. My man Cal, you posted a comment on that particular video referencing the fact that you believed, and it could be true. I didn't fact check it. It could be true. That Filipinas or Filipinos in general were always ranked number one in reference to traffic on that particular website. I can't quite remember, but I do remember specifically watching that. I mean, reading that particular article and reading your particular comment and saying, you know what, they probably did rank in the top sector of the country spent on these particular adult contented websites. Now, this is where things get a little bit spicy, y'all. This is where things get a little bit spicy because when you talk about the article, you read the statistics, you look at the stats, you look at the other countries, their watch times, and all of the above. It makes you think, well, damn, are Filipinas the freakiest women in Asia? Are Filipinas the freakiest women in Asia? Now, of course, the term freaky or freak or whatever it may be, whether you view it in a positive light, whether you view it in a negative light, the term itself is one to marvel at because there's so many different ways to define it. In this particular situation, for this particular video, and from my own perspective only, not to say that this represents everybody's thoughts. Freak or freakiest means the ones that are willing to do a little bit more in the bedroom than other Asian women. That's what I mean by the freakiest women in Asia. Now, I want to have some fun with this one, guys. It's not meant to be derogatory. It's not meant to make somebody feel bad about themselves or, make women feel like I'm trying to come down on them or shit them or anything, or Filipinos in general for that fact. But I want to have some fun because it sheds a lot of light on a lot of situations and revelations that a lot of gentlemen will have in reference to their desires, wants, and aspirations to visit a country like the Philippines. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there's no big secret. I ain't gonna lie to y'all because I ain't got time for it today. But a lot of people travel to the Philippines for women. I mean, there's literally no other way to describe it. A lot of guys travel to the Philippines to experience what it's like to date Filipinas, be with Filipinas, and things that I like. I mean, it's just what it is. I like to say, yo, man, come for other reasons and make, getting to know Filipinas the benefit or the coup de grace, the icing on the cake. But we know that a lot of guys come specifically for the women. I'm not mad at you for it. But an article like this definitely sheds a lot of light on why a lot of guys say the things that they say about Filipinas. Filipinas are very experimental, gentlemen. I made a video, two videos, probably within the last couple of months. One was, Do Filipinas Like It Rough? You can Google search that title and put my name next to it. You'll find that video. And the second one was, Filipinas, they all want to be your porn stars as long as you can do this. I think that was the title of the video. You're going to have to go in the catalog and find it because I didn't get a chance to tag it in the description area because I just now thought about it. But those particular videos shed a little bit of light on why I personally feel that Filipinas in general, yo, what's up, Mike? Filipinas in general are a little bit more open-minded probably than a lot of other women in Asia. Now, that's not to say that if you go to Japan, if you go to China, if you go to India, if you go to Kazakhstan and Cambodia and Vietnam, you're not going to find a young lady out there that's willing to, have a little fun with you or do a little bit of experimentation. But I do believe that you'll find that a whole lot more with women in the Philippines than women uh, in any of those other countries. Mike, what's good, bro? Mike, if you want to come on with me, I will gladly let you come on. I know we didn't plan it. I know we ain't got a thumbnail for it, nothing fancy, but fuck it. If you want the link, bro, I'll send you the link. But Brandon, good question, man. How to avoid ladyboys in the Philippines? Look at the hands, look at the Adam's apple, and most of them got broad shoulders. The beautiful thing about ladyboys in the Philippines is you can tell them ladyboys apart. It's when you go to Thailand and all them other places where those plastic surgeons do some serious, serious, serious work. Trim down, shave down the Adam's apple and shit. Yeah, that could probably, make you think a little bit. But in the Philippines, you can pretty much tell a ladyboy when you see him. And I'm telling you, the voice is a clear giveaway. But I can't say that there's a way that you could possibly avoid them. I would just have to tell you that, just pay attention to the tall tale signs. First thing I look at, Adam's apple. Dead ass. Got to be the Adam's apple first. Look at the hands and the shoulders, man. Those are like three things that are hard to hide if you put a little bass in your voice and shit in dealing with Philippines like that, man. Hey, man, if you could do 15, just let me know, bro. Anyways, I'm gonna try to hold this down for another 15 minutes before my man Mike comes through. But yeah. Hold on, guys. Give me a split second. While I'm doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and get some shit together. Make sure I can prep for my people coming through. But like I said, till I rudely interrupted myself, man. Filipinos do tend to, carry a trait that you're not likely to find in most women in Asia. Like Filipinos are super experimental. They're super open-minded about the idea of. And when I say I made this comment so many years back, it's crazy. The thing is about Filipinos that I learned to be super fact is the freakiest ones are the ones that are not getting laid. The freakiest ones are the ones that are not getting laid. You want to know why? Because the ones that aren't getting any, they are the ones that are probably watching Pornhub like there's no tomorrow. They're probably the ones or they represent the larger percentage of the women that are interacting with these particular adult sites, right? They're the ones that are on there just just marveling at seeing how big some dude's junk is or doing all of this extra shit. I'm telling you, y'all think I'm fucking with y'all, but the ones that aren't getting any are the ones that actually are on this sites. They want to know what it's like to be with this guy. They want to know if this is what if it's true what they say. They want to say, oh well, you know damn, I want to try this the next time I get together with somebody and such and such and such and such. Bro, it happens more often than not. Is it scary? No. It's the best thing that can fucking ever happen to you. Now, the thing is, I don't want you going into the situation thinking that every Filipino out there gonna want to bag you and try to fuck you or whatever it is, because it's not the case. I ain't gonna happen with all females. They definitely. Hey, yo, Mike, check your email, bro. The link is I sent the link to your email. Um, but yeah, a lot of um, a lot of Filipinos, if you ask me, if you ask me, um, they're a little bit more open minded than the women that you'll find in other parts of Asia. Like, I want to tell a story, but I'm afraid to tell a story. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know who's listening. I want to tell a story, but okay, let me just make it a little PG-13 version of the story. All right, so there was this one particular young lady back in the way back in the day, Marcus days, I should say. Um, she, fuck. Oh my God. If you're on my Patreon, I shared this story. All right. It's not wild, but it's kind of wild, man. I mean, there is no way that I get a pass on this shit, bro. It's funny, but it's not funny at the exact same time. Fuck it. Okay. I'm gonna speed this up. I'm gonna tell you this story real quick and never ask me to tell you the story again. All right. So there was this one girl that I knew back in the day, right? And this is when Doc was just getting into this groove of things, dealing with Filipinos, having my fun and doing things that I enjoy to do. Right. Like I said, it ain't crazy, but it's crazy for me. So and like again, and this was crazy because it was in the early 2000s. Okay, so there was this one girl, right? Like me and her, we did our thing, and I think we may have hooked up maybe at least twice, maybe three times. So she sends me a text message, right? She sends me this text message, and I didn't think anything of it. I didn't even read it until I actually read it, because I didn't read it. I just responded and said, "Yeah, okay." And then she sent me a message. Did you read the actual message? Like, did you read it in full? And I didn't. So I went back and read the message, and to speed the process up, as detailed as she was in this message, I was like, well, damn, this chick is a freak for real. But basically, in the message, she was detailing everything that she wanted to try to do next, right? And at the top of her list, like she gave me a whole bucket list of things that she wanted to do. At the top of the list, she wanted your boy to. she was like, yo, can you put it there? Like basically, she wanted me to, you know, and I ain't never did that before. And I was like, oh, like I was like, put it in a place where lube is required. I will say that. So she was just like, yo, can you do that? Like, I want you to do that. Like, I saw it in a video and I want to try that shit. That's basically how it came about. So I was like, huh, huh. Like, imagine this is new to me. Again, man. I ain't gonna act like I'm a pro with this sex shit. Yeah, bro. She was more than that. She wanted, bruh. She was something else, man. She was something else. And it was just how detailed she was in the text message that kind of blew my mind a little bit, right? Because if you're gonna write me a paragraph, I'm not gonna read it, right? I'm not gonna read it. I'm not gonna read it. But what I will tell you is what I will say to you in actuality is when she said it, I'm like, God damn, girl, you about that. It was just how crazy she was with the idea of bringing in all that extra shit, bro. And I was like, man, I wasn't ready for that. I was not. I was not ready for that. But hey, Mike, can you hear me, bro?
Yeah, I can hear you, man.
Hey, man, you're loud and clear over here. Gentlemen, welcome yourselves to what is going to be a better episode now. Um, First things first, if you don't know my man Mike's Philippines journey, I didn't tag his name because we didn't know this was gonna happen. This was a last minute thing, so you can blame me for it. But um, Mike, man, welcome yourself to the channel, bro.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me.
Now, in fairness, like I said, bro, you brought the topic to me. You shared with me the article. I thought it was crazy. I told him in the beginning, man, I was just gonna let you rock, let you do your thing with it, and I wasn't gonna do it. Then I said, fuck it. You told me to do it, so I said, all right, let me try this shit, try my hand at it, and that's where we are now. So, in your in light of the situation and in light of the question being asked for this particular live stream, do you believe that Filipinas would represent the freakiest women in the nation? Just
Yeah.
generally, whatever, whatever.
Well, I mean, luckily enough, I've been with several different Asian girls in the States, right? So even in the States, I would say, you know, Filipinas are, but in the Philippines, yeah, definitely. I mean, they're definitely more open, but of course, let's be honest, that the ones that are more open are not going to be like the provincial ones, but that doesn't mean that those girls are not, somebody who wants to explore something of being better. But of course, I think all guys needs to pay attention that you can't groom a girl. They have to do it openly, wantingly. So sometimes maybe because they've been watching the prawn hub and stuff like that, that they're like, all right, maybe so. But the thing though is like you shared in the video, right?
Mhm.
The number one viewed is Japanese porn.
That
And
Japanese porn, bro. Wow, I thought that was
what's funny was Russia watches a lot of hentai. Now that was a crazy one to me. Russia
bro.
wants to watch hentai, but like the fact that Japanese porn, and I'm like, and I I cringe whenever a time like that those things pop up, and I'm like, no, not that stuff. And so like
It's
I've
too cliche. Yeah.
so you guys might get stuck with a Filipina that thinks that the way Japanese girls moan is the way to moan, and like
That shit is
sometimes you
fucking
just want to like
annoying. I'm gonna keep
just
it real.
flick them in the forehead and be like, "Shut up, shut up," you know.
Yeah, that shit can get annoying. But like my man Cal said, it's usually the most innocent looking ones that tend to be the freakiest ones. And the ones that, hold themselves together well in public. I kind of feel like to me, it's not, I wouldn't call it a fetish, but it's like one of those things where you don't necessarily want people to know that this is the life that you're about. So you hold yourself well together and like behind closed doors, normally you just let loose.
I
I
agree. I agree with Kyle. I mean, because like sometimes the people that talks too much, be like, "Oh, I can do this," and you're like, when things happen, they're like, "I'm like, what happened?"
think.
It's like you talked a lot of game there, and I think that happens all over the world when people need to talk about how good they are. More than likely, you're just like, no, next, So, yeah, I would
Yeah.
stay away from that.
The thing that I've paid attention a lot to lately is like the sexier dressing ones are the ones that I choose not necessarily to avoid, but I don't really give a lot of attention to or pay a lot of attention to. The ones that take the sexier photos or the ones that, want to show you cleavage a little bit, the short skirts and stuff, show a little bit of legs spread, laying across the bed and shit. Granted, that's enough to like, get me interested and intrigued and shit. Those are normally the ones that flake out in the end or the ones that really ain't about shit. Or what we like to call we call them what do we call them? I forgot, man. They're not the ones that just lay on their back and shit and
Thirst,
don't do
thirst
shit,
trap
right?
spots, those kind of stuff.
Yeah, that shit. They're just the types of women that'll say a lot of things but won't give you shit. Like, you just be like, damn, I kind of wasted all my energy on somebody that's not about anything. So, I mean, you can kind of, damn, that's a great question. Like, let me ask you because I'm thinking you can normally tell the ones that have that particular trait, but what would you say would have to stand out about a female that would possess that freakier trait, for lack of a better term? If you had to, like, visual, not okay, we'll say visually in some of the things that you may have heard them say.
Visually,
And that's a hard one. I know, Mike. You got to think about it because I would have to think about it too.
I think it's a particular action more.
Mm-hmm.
If you find out that your Filipina gets lasered down there, she's like,
Mm-hmm.
I got to go to my appointment. And I'm like, what's the appointment? I got to go get a laser. Oh, okay. Because for them
Right.
to go the extra mile, for them to be like, I need to make sure that it's nicely taken care of,
Right.
then they're more inclined to be like, you know what, I want to make sure it's looking good. I mean, I think it's
Mm-hmm.
a small percentage where they're just like so into their looks. Um,
Right.
it's no difference than girls, wearing the grandma panties when they're going out, right? They're gonna do that because they're gonna be like, it's no access today, so if I wear the grandma panties, I know I'm not giving it up. So
Right.
if you find out a girl is like, you know what, I'm getting a laser down there, then you're like, all right. Especially if they have a continual appointment, then you're like, all right,
She
something's
likes to
good
keep
about
her
this.
shit together. Fair enough.
Exactly.
All right, so Mike, my man JX, I don't know how he meant it when he said it, but he says according to some YouTubers, you can groom these women to be
JX. JX always hilarious, man. But yeah, I know who you're talking about, JX. So we're gonna just like go ahead and remain nameless on the person you're trying to talk about. Yeah,
Please
and
do.
that's the thing. It's like, you know, seriously, if you have to do that, like my thing is that the fact that you have to be like, "Or I want you to do this. I want to use this. You better use this
Hmm.
egg vibrator, whatever." I'm just saying is
Oh
that.
shit! Never mind. Okay, okay, go for it. My bad.
So
It dawned. Go ahead.
yeah, courses and all that stuff. Somebody's courses out there. I'm just saying is that for that kind of stuff, it's like, then that's no fun. It's like when you're a grown person, you wanna, some guys like wants to find themselves a virgin, for example, and I'm just like, really, you really want to go there? You really want to go there, right? I'm like, there's so many different things. I mean, like, I knew a girl, right? I knew a girl, dentist, 34 years old, right? She
Hmm.
gave, she was a single mother, okay, a single mother.
Hmm.
You know, but guess what? After she got pregnant, her son was 5 years old already. She got what they call the reflowering surgery,
Oh shit! I heard about that. Yeah, I heard about
and those are pretty interesting. But that's my thing.
it.
It's just that it's like, why do you want somebody who's just gonna stand there? I'm like, do you guys remember the first time you ever with a girl,
Yeah.
back in high school,
Hmm.
especially if you end up with a virgin? Was it a fun experience? Heck,
Absolutely not.
I know my first experience. I look back and I was like, why the hell? What are you guys talking about? It's fun. That
It's
stuff was
not.
weird.
It
So
was
it's like,
awful.
why do you want to put yourself in that awkward situation? But go for somebody. And it's funny is like, just going through single mothers. Why some guys feel that single mothers know what to do in bed? No, they could have gotten pregnant after they did it one time. That doesn't mean that they're good in bed.
Hmm.
I mean, that's just my thoughts of that.
Agreed. So my man Brandon says, "OMG, absolutely don't moan like they do in those Japanese videos." Oh my god, please don't, please don't.
Hmm.
But yeah, that shit. My man Roy says they do it so that you don't get the hair in your teeth. That's also a possibility as well. I've shared this once upon a time, and I'll share it again. I don't want to be with a virgin, bro. I don't see the appeal. I've never seen the appeal. I hated it the first time. Bro, it's messy. That's all I can say. That's where it starts. But um, there is no. I don't believe in the grooming aspect of it. They got, like you said, bro. They really got to want to do it themselves first, right?
Hmm.
Now, I'm not going to sit there and say that you can't ask leading questions just to see where her head is and, see if she could potentially be about that life. But it's hard for me to sit there and believe that you can groom somebody to do this for you or do that for you and shit like that. Like I'll ask. Like sometimes it'll be in the act of like, yo, you want to try something new, right? I mean,
Hmm.
when they're doing it, chances are they'll be like, well, fuck it, let me see what you're talking about. All right, just don't go crazy, right? Or if it's something that you believe to be major in any capacity or whatever you're trying to bring to the room or whatnot, you would ask that in advance to see where her head game is before you start bringing it up. And then she like, ew, no, just back off a little bit, then maybe if you feel comfortable enough to bring it up a little bit later, you could try again. But, you do have to really read between the lines in most situations. Because like I said earlier, you can't expect that every girl going to be about that action, right? You can't
Hmm.
expect that every Filipina, A, is even going to want to sleep with you. I think that's a big misconception that a lot of foreigners have. Yeah, man, I'm the foreigner dude, man. If I could, they all want to blow me, whatever it may be. You know how they do. But it's not always the case. And I can tell you right now, and I say this as loosely as possibly, and I want y'all to hear me when I say this. A Filipina will do some things for me that she will not do for you. She will do some things for you that she will not do for me. You understand? So it's never going to be even kill across the board, gentlemen. Sometimes a woman is willing to step it up a little bit more if she's feeling a better, if you want to call it a connection with, whoever she's with. But Mike, I'll let you, if you have anything to say on that, go ahead.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, like I've seen guys who be like, "Oh, she never does this for me," and all of a sudden, oh, but after me, all of a sudden she's garden tooling it out there and stuff like that. She's doing a
Right?
304 out there because now she's doing this, doing that. What's up with that? And I was like, well, maybe that your value wasn't high enough that for her to want to give up something more. So it's like, to be honest, it's like just because she doesn't do it with you, that doesn't mean she's not going to do it. The thing though is, how did you make her feel? How did, is that something that she really wanted to do for you? And so women in general have certain things. This is meant
Hmm.
for a hookup. This is meant for the boyfriend material. This is meant for the hubby, and
Okay.
so, guys should be able to understand that, but then,
Compartmentalized. I like that.
yeah, but at the same time, as guys need to understand how to put situational questions in, you know.
Hmm.
So like, I've had a girl do that several times. Several women done that. The whole, well, I've only do that for my husband. And I was like, well, you know what they say. Have you ever heard of TD Jakes? That's what I'll tell her. I was like, oh, you haven't heard of him? Well, what he says is this: if you want to be a wife, you have to act like a wife now. If you want to be a girlfriend and be treated like a girlfriend, then act like a girlfriend right now. Like, oh, so but you have to do it in a fun way, and I think that guys don't know how to kind of use situational questions to put them in the
Hmm.
place where they want, you can find out, like you were saying earlier, finding out stuff about the girls, right? I'm like, well, put them in
Hmm.
a situation. Don't be like, would you do this with me? Put them in a question. Be like, if there are three things that you would do, what's something that you want to try?
Right.
If
There
there
you
if
go.
there if there are five things that you haven't tried yet but you're interested in, but I'm sure you haven't found a man yet at this very moment, even though I'm right here in front of you, what would those things do? And what would be like three things that you would never, that if by accident something happens in the bedroom right now, what would it be? Sell yourself a little bit, guys. Like, literally put them in the situation that they're thinking about. They want to be there at that very moment. Then you'll find out. Because the last thing you
The
want to
high.
do is do something that they don't want, and you're out.
True. Yeah. Hypotheticals, man. I love them. Don't necessarily mean they have to happen. It's just something that if you ask the right situational leading questions, it could actually lead to something a little bit better. You just never know. All right. Now, before we move on, I got some things I'm going to answer in the chat real quick. But before we move on, guys, again, there are 20 people in the building. There's 14 likes, man. Let's get the likes up. Thank you very much, man. You already know what to do, man. If you want to support, please feel free to do so. But like I said, I'm happy and blessed y'all come through and spend some time with us today. Now, interesting comment here. Filipinos do not like young foreigners. They only like older white men. And it was Filipinos have been trained generationally to like older GI men. Higher the rank, the more the money. It stems from American occupation. Mike, I'm going to leave that one for you.
Bullshit.
Go
That
ahead, man.
plain and simple. I'm sorry, chosen one. By the way, chosen one. Hopefully, my hair looks better now that you're not going to turn off, man. But the thing though is this: is like, guys need to get rid of this whole concept of like they want older men, they want younger men, they want no. What's your value? Like, guys think that they're older guy, like older men with
Mhm.
respect, and I consider myself old. I'm 43. I'm considered old for a young Filipina. All right, because you have to understand, it's like it's not what we think, it's what they think, and so the thing though is guys have this thing like, well, older men are the prize because we're this, we're just that. No. Are you a Cracker Jack prize? Are you those paper Cracker Jack prizes that when you open up a Cracker Jack box, is that what kind of prize you are, or are you $1 million lottery ticket? Like, it depends on each individual. An old guy can take a young Filipina from a young foreigner anytime, but don't be fueled that the fact that a young guy can take that Filipina away from you as well. And at the same time, is what's her real preference? She could be, her main preference could be Filipinos, but she got sick of it a little bit. She wanted to try something else, but that doesn't mean that she won't leave you for another Filipino. Men just need to remove this whole thing that they want older men. No, look at the statistics. In the, over here in the US, the average large age gap, the age gap average is at around a 4.5 years age gap on
Okay.
relationships. In the Philippines, it's
Mhm.
6.2. So what are you talking about that they want the older one? Of course, because it's bigger than the US, that means that there's more age gap relationships that happens with Filipinas. So yes, they
Mhm.
want older men, but it's not so before you start saying older men, I would say, what do you mean by older?
See, the way that I look at it is if we bring back the whole situation, we'll call it situational analysis. If you analyze most Filipinos in certain situations, again, it depends. Um, they may choose an older guy because of a need that needs to be fulfilled. I think that's a fair assessment. there's a financial need, financial burden, or whatever it is. And usually, not saying this is always the case, but usually that would refer to the ones that live in the lower socioeconomic classes,
Yep.
right? So to see older guys with younger Filipinas and those age gaps to an extent, and like you said, I don't want to say that it represents like the entire country. It could be just the foreigner relationship with a Filipino, what the age gap is. I don't even know. I don't even know if there's a statistic for that. Like, what is the age gap between foreign men and Filipino women? Like, what would
Mhm.
be the age gap? If we could find that out, that would be awesome to see what the years are. Now, again, I know older guys, they represent stability. Fair enough. Probably got a little pension coming in. A little bit of money coming in. So some Filipinas may look at this guy as stable, as opposed to a younger person. I'm not young, but in this situation, let's say that I would represent the younger guy, somebody who is, let's say not necessarily as stable as the older guy, right? And if you are basing your decision on who has the most money, chances are you'll probably have them go for the older guy. Again, this is just a hypothetical. It's just a generalization. I know it's not fair, but in this situation, we'll just focus on it for now. But let's say, for example, the older guy is in the situation as the younger guy in the situation. Do you not think, if we're doing the compartmentalization like we talked about earlier,
Mhm.
that the thing she would have to do for the older gentleman would be far less than she would have to do probably with the younger gentleman? Or would she be more willing to, because they probably connect and probably are more compatible, not necessarily just because of age, but you know, it just seems like they may have a little bit more in common. Maybe she finds herself a little bit more attracted visually to the younger guy as opposed to the older guy. Do you not think that she would pass up on the opportunity to at least see what she can get out of it with the younger guy as opposed to just settling, dealing, and being complacent with the older gentleman?
You know, to be
Loaded question,
fair,
I know.
yeah, yeah. To be fair, it goes the same exact way the other way. I think that it depends on the man. It doesn't matter what his age is.
Mhm.
If he's, there's a lot of older guys that will fucking outrun me anytime that's more energetic than me. So
For sure.
let's be honest at that, right? So I
Hmm.
think it depends on the situation that you create with the girl that you're with, right? So like just
Hmm.
the other day, just over at Target, some dude was walking around with this dude was like in his 65, 70s, and he was playing some hip hop music, and he was white in Target, like boombox and all, like a little speaker stuff, and I'm just like, whoa, good for you, man. But my thing is that it depends on the situation that you put your girl with. I think that, if you are able to make her comfortable, feel safe, feel secured, feel provided, then more than likely she's going to want to return the favor and do things for you as well. But yeah, I do also agree what you're saying that sometimes maybe because there's things that younger guys, younger men, and I'm not what I'm saying is under 40. Okay,
Hmm.
I want to put a definition what I mean by by younger men. Under
Hmm.
40 is to be able to say that because they can do other things that are different. They can go hike up the mountains and they want to try to do some mountain glamping sex, whatever, right? Or
Some random shit.
yeah.
Some freak.
So
Whatever.
let's be honest. There's things that and now not to say that there's not no 60-year-old guy that can
Getting it in. Yes.
that
For
can
sure.
hike out hike me or another or younger dude. I'm sure there are, but the
Hmm.
percentages is very low. So it just all depends. I think that it's because some guys just have this persona that's different. Some guys will fake it in the beginning, then all of a sudden, once the relationship is there, the girls are like, "Well, this is not fun,"
Right.
So it's like,
Not what I thought it would be, or something
yeah,
to that effect. Right.
why would I want to try this all of a sudden? I'm like, where did you learn this? Like, and to be honest, for guys not to share with girls automatically what their expectation, what they see and stuff like that. You
Hmm.
bring them to a Filipina and say, "Hey, I want to try this." She's gonna be like, "What video have you been watching?"
There you go, because they probably been watching the same video. They just won't
Yeah.
say it. But anyway,
What video have you been watching that you decided this? Right. And this, like I said, that's why I
yeah,
bring up situational questions, because you'd be like, well, remember we talked about this in the beginning of our relationship. Hey, I'll just bring it up since you said you were
we're just
open to it.
going around to it. We're
Yeah.
just bringing it back.
You
Are
know,
Filipinas more freakier than Thai women? That's a hard one. I saw it in the chat, but
um,
I don't. I I would see. I don't know because I haven't been to Thailand, so that's not a fair question to answer for me.
well, they have the Pong show over there, right? So I mean, obviously they're doing more stuff over there. It's a little bit more freakier, I guess. But like,
Yeah.
so
Now hold up though. See. I think we're lacking because we can't just sleep on Japanese women either, because they be having all kinds of crazy ass TV shows and shit. I know you at least seen one though, because they be doing some weird
oh,
shit on.
yeah. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I've tried my plenty of times. But here's the thing: like, do you know that there's a shortage of porn stars in Japan right now?
That I find to be unbelievable.
There is a
Are they quitting?
shortage of porn stars over there, especially men porn stars. So, like, if some of you guys
What?
were, yeah, they're ready.
What?
They're short already as it is, and they're short right now.
Short.
So,
Wow.
so you have that. But the thing, though, that if you start looking at that, is Japanese people in general is that they have a sexless marriage. I mean, Japanese people barely even kiss. So like, if guys, we're seeing only the extreme stuff in TV and stuff like that, but in
Mm,
general, in truth, if you look at studies, that's why the population of Japan is actually dwindling down so fast. Is because people are having less sex. And so there's actually a good study about it. If you look it up, CNN, what's her name? Amanpour. She
Christina
Christina
Amanpour. Yeah,
Amanpour.
yeah.
Yeah, so she
Hmm.
actually did one where she went to Japan, and they were touching bases with all of these different things, and it was
Wow.
very interesting. Like, so, you know, it's crazy. But yeah, so I would say that maybe if you find a freak in Japan, you're good. But the chances of you finding a Japanese freak, I mean, that's why they have hentai, manga.
Right.
It's
They be
because,
doing some extreme shit, bro.
yeah.
So a lot of people are saying that Thailand wins. I'm not gonna say whether they do or not, and I believe that that is could potentially be.
Mhm.
So the comment that I wanted to read, Filipinas refuse to believe that I have more money than older guys. Their brains are definitely wired different, and some of them are just not interested.
Chosen, I think that you
That's
need to
AC lifestyle, bro. That's that AC
chosen.
lifestyle.
First of all, you need to leave Angeles City now, because number one is you're saying
Killing
that
it.
last time. I think this was like about months ago. That I was in the chats, and you got left by your Filipina for $50. So, I think, to be honest, is that what you're looking at Filipinas and basing your assessment of Filipinas for the Filipinas, the small percentage of Filipinas that you surround yourself. And the worst part about it is you surround yourself with Angeles City Filipinas, which
Them
has a
bitches.
larger population of misguided or miswired brains of Filipinas, of women in general, that, to be honest, you know, if you go out and expand yourself and leave Angeles City and you go to Quezon City, Parañaque, Alabang, Cavite, and stuff like that, you are going to be able to see a whole majority that you haven't seen yet. And I think that when you stick yourself in a little area, that messes up your assessment of the whole thing, to be honest. So it's like, because look, Filipinas will leave a man who has lesser money than a man if that man can
Mhm.
do other things that she requires. She needs to be hugged. She needs to be this. The thing though is most men don't find out what is the basic necessities from a woman that they need, and just jump ship.
Okay, quick question. I saw Jay. I'm reading your question late though. He says, "Have you ever had a Filipino say no to something while dating?" Yes.
Yeah. I mean, but the question is, what do you mean by something? But
maybe,
if
maybe,
no,
maybe,
sure.
maybe some awkward requests. I don't know. I don't know what that means, but yes,
Yeah.
I've had them say no plenty of times. I remember one time. Well, I wasn't dating him, but I think I was. It was about 24 hours. I admit, I was rushing it. I was rushing it, and for lack of a better term, I found a very creative way to tell her I was trying to hit that. And
Mhm.
she got mad at me. That's the best way for me to say it. So, yes, I have been told no. So, it's not like I said, you don't get them all, man. And sometimes the money doesn't help. So if they don't want to rock with you, they don't want to rock with you. And it's scary. A lot of people believe, ooh, this is a hard one for me to say, that Filipinos will sleep with you if you have money. But that's not always true. Not always true at all. Sometimes there's no amount of money on planet Earth that will have this woman agree to do anything with you, especially if she's repulsed by you. Especially if she knows that she can actually pull somebody better than you, or she's probably dealt with guys that she would perceive to have been better than you. It's definitely a difficult thing to try to pull off, to think that you can get them just because you have money. And I think that's one of the common misperceptions with a lot of foreigners. They honestly believe it doesn't matter what she looks like and what they look like. If money is involved and it is strictly transactional, that they can get them. Yes, if they work in a particular industry, of course. I mean, shit, that's what their job is. But I'm talking about just in general. I'm talking about somebody that you may meet, in the grocery store, or just on wherever you out in the markets and some shit, wherever you are. But I just always thought that that was one of those misconceptions I didn't care for very much. And I try to tell guys it's not always that easy, but they don't want to believe it. And it's kind of, I don't know how to tell them any other way, man.
Yeah, I
Mm,
agree. I mean, they will choose somebody over obvious value. They will
mm-hmm,
choose somebody of perceived value more than obvious value. So, like, if they see, let's say, just say you're $1,000 guy, right? You're worth
mm-hmm,
$1,000. But if they see a guy who shows potential, meaning that more hardworking, more whatever, but does other things as well than this $1,000 guy, they're going to go for the guy who's 500, but this person might become 1,000, 2,000 later on. And that's just basic
mm-hmm.
female nature. That's we can go through the whole thing about the whole hypergamistic method of things. But the question is, like, then this is where a lot of guys, they have this fear of bringing their Filipina to their country, Australia,
Right,
America, whatever. The thing
right.
though is, the reason why she left you is because she saw and figured out that you are of less value, that you faked her to believe. So the thing though is, most guys don't ask their woman, the future woman, how does she see herself living really? And the thing though is, if she
That's
sees
never a
herself,
question, bro. That's actually, I've never heard anybody ask that question.
yeah.
Like,
So, but you can ask the question better. But like, so how do what kind of house do you see yourself living in? Because the thing though, she doesn't understand what it is in the Philippines compared to the U.S. All she's thinking is, if you're worth $2,000, right? If your monthly is $2,000, she's thinking what $2,000 can do in the Philippines, but she has no understanding how $2,000 is worth in the U.S. And so
mm-hmm,
all of a sudden she gets to the US and that $2,000 really isn't what she's expecting. Well, guess what? She's the new meat in the market, and she's going to sell that. So there's a potential for that. So that's where guys, I think, needs to ask the questions. I'm like, how do you see yourself? What do you see yourself like? Do you see yourself working? Who's going to be paying for your family? Like, most guys, just because a woman says I love you, especially a Filipina says
mm-hmm,
I love you, and trust me, guys, Filipinas do not have the full understanding of what love really is. Love is really attention and time and cuddles and food. That's all they really think, and then they'll love you already. They're like, I love you. I love you so much that you're here with me. My goodness. And that's the thing, that's like, most guys don't ask those questions. And then they get to the US and be like, and bam, they get left. And then they blame the
well,
Filipina. All Filipinas are scammers, you know?
love that story. I love those videos, man, when they come out. But in reality, the way that I view it is, like I said, you can't really trip if they leave or not. It doesn't really matter. I mean, at some point, you have the guys who make the statements, she's not really yours, she's just yours for the moment. You have people who say stuff like that. And I guess it does depend on the type of young ladies that you're dealing with.
Mhm.
to actually be able to, discern or come to those particular conclusions. I mean, you
Yeah.
could come to those conclusions dealing with a certain group of women. And it scares me that I kind of feel like the low hanging fruit of sorts, or the more promiscuous types, are the ones that they get a lot of shine, and as a result of that small percentage of women getting a lot of shine, it really does cast this like stain or this thought process in a lot of guys' heads. Yo, man, why the fuck should I give a fuck about dating a Filipino for? Or, man, they just gonna scam us anyways. Or how do you feel about this? And we can have a conversation all day long, man. Look, it's a 50-50 chance, bro. She might scam you, she might not. I mean, what you want me to tell you, man? But it's just always interesting to I like different perspectives. And sometimes when you hear certain scam stories though,
Hmm.
you hear them all the time. When you hear them, uh when you hear them, you be like, okay, so how many times did she do this particular act before you realize maybe, just maybe, just maybe,
Hmm.
maybe, um she was trying to scam me, or the red flags were there, and I didn't pay attention to this, and then they all scammers, fuck them all. I draw. I'm really confused about that one. Like, in we've covered how many Rafi TOEFL videos between
Oh
us,
my god.
and
Yeah.
I mean, between my channel and yours and whatever, man. It's just it's consistent, and I guess I'm confused as to why the fuck why can't we why can't we come to general conclusions that there are certain red flags that must be followed, or certain things that must be made note of, that would probably indicate that she may not be a person with the best of intentions for you. You know,
Yeah.
it's funny. Anywho, yo, I don't know where 35 of you sums of bitches came from, but I appreciate y'all locking in, man. Y'all make sure y'all drop y'all likes, man. Make sure you caress the lesson, just stretch stuff over them like buttons. We want it, we need it, we most definitely have to have it. Again, for those that want to support, please feel free to do so. But of course, happy and blessed that y'all have chosen to spend a little bit of time with us today. Trying to go back to any questions. If I see anything, a lot of guys are asking. Well, I'm talking about Thailand being, freaky women. I believe it. I'm not gonna sit there and act like I don't know.
Colombia is the freakiest.
So there are questions about how do we know, or I guess Mike, when you were speaking about female nature, there were questions about how do guys know about female nature, or what is it about you particularly that has allotted you
Sure.
the intuition, I would say, about dealing with certain females and female nature. I'll let you answer it because
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fair question. I'm not here
Mhm,
to, for like Wayne says, I'm not here to speak for all females. I'm here to speak as a man, right? So
mhm,
the thing though is that number one is that I actually go out there. Like for like 3 years, I was doing my own sociology, my social dynamic study myself. I took body language courses, I took lie detection courses, and I did that because of my background and the work that I do. And but at the very same time, as a classmate of mine says, this can apply in normal human beings and stuff like that. And let's just go out in the field and try it. And so you did that. I literally for 3 years, average spoke to 100 girls that I never knew every week. That was the goal. The goal was to speak to 100 girls every week for a whole year. But that doesn't mean that I do it every week. I'll make 80, 60 sometimes. But the goal there is just to pay attention and understanding basic human dynamics. And when you start paying attention to women more, then you pay
mhm,
attention to more. And if you stop actually looking at just a small populace and actually start going out more, Cebu, going to, Manila, Makati, Las Piñas, Parañaque, you go around and not just dealing with lower socioeconomic women, then you have better
mhm,
understanding. But it's unfair to be able to say that all Filipinas are this when the problem is all you expose yourself is bottom of the barrel bitches, right?
mhm.
So, so that's unfair to say. Now, um, chosen one 304 is a hoe. So just to let you know, if you're asking that question right
It's
now,
a
flip it upside
HOE.
down.
Yeah.
So, but the thing with that is that that's where my experience is, and I've dated a lot of women. I've gone out and paid attention to people, asked
Mhm,
questions. I ask questions. That's why I can understand a little bit more. And so I can say, in average, compared to other men that I'm around or I've been around, I've spoken to more women. That doesn't mean I tried to sleep with all the women. I'm just saying having an honest conversation with a woman is probably one of the most important things. And in my industry that I work, I am exposed to pretty much 80% of the people I work with are all Filipinas, right? So I just let you guys know I'm a nurse. I'm a nurse educator. I'm also, I'm a practicing nurse, but I'm more in the marketing field now. But I've been around Filipinas all my life. So I picked up on nuances as well. So I'm not saying I'm an expert. I'm saying is that I have more experience than most people. And it's up
Hmm.
to people to take what they want. They don't need to believe me. I don't expect them to, but maybe learn something. Just one thing.
True. My man Cal, you wrote right here, man. You know female nature by experience, communication, and just dating them. That's pretty much how I learned. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. I fuck up all the time. Sometimes I do it on purpose just to see what will happen. Sometimes I've gotten to the point in my life where and I'll say some things just to catch the response. Just because.
Mm,
It's not that it means anything. And I'm not trying to bait them into anything, but sometimes I'll say it just to see how they're going to respond to it because I genuinely want to know. And I haven't come up with a creative way to say it. So sometimes I just say it. Sometimes it works and they accept and respect the honesty aspect of it all. Sometimes they like, nah, you don't lost your damn mind. And it is what it is. So
mhm.
again, like I said, it's hit and miss. It just depends. He said this is why we have big time issues in the United States because of materialistic types of women and their BS. It's a good way to put it. Like I said, man, we definitely a lot of guys are just trying to get out. All right. And I respect it. Some guys aren't looking for marriage. I agree. A lot
Mhm.
of y'all don't want to get married. Like I said, I'm in a relationship that will likely lead to it. So I'm not gonna tell you why you should or should not, because again, personal decisions, I understand. There are a lot of gentlemen, been through some shit, dated some bad women, got married, kind of got out of something sticky. So, everybody's decision for why they choose to do something or not do something, completely respected. Some just play the love or the sick card. Yeah, you'll get that a lot in the Philippines. They'll love you or somebody's sick to try to get something out of you. I believe that's what you're saying. He said, I just won't never get married in the States or Asia.
Respect.
Yeah, right. He says they won't steal your CC number and stay at Hilton's for months on months, but don't use most chicks there don't use OnlyFans either. They got another one. It's not called OnlyFans. I found it the other day, bro. I forgot what it's called. It's
Really?
called yeah, man. I found it the other day. Michael, I'll text it to you when I remember it. It's a version of OnlyFans. It's called
Oh, yeah, no, no, no. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking
because
about.
I
Yeah, but it's
forgot
not.
I forgot
It came
it's
out before OnlyFans, but I know what you're talking about.
it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
literally the exact same
Yeah.
function. It's just like Asia or some shit. Because girls have put that in their like IG shit, like follow me on this shit. Is
Mhm.
it I am something or
No,
some
isn't
shit?
it something Lux? Something Lux.
Allura.
Okay, I knew there was an LU. Okay, yes, I thought it was like
There you
Lux
go.
something. So Lou something. Okay, got it.
Okay,
Yeah,
Allure. Thanks, Cal,
got
man.
it.
Because I know I found this shit out yesterday. Yeah, it's not OnlyFans. It's like Allure, some shit like that. Um,
There's no need to do.
let's see.
Why would you pay for OnlyFans of a Filipina? I like to be honest. It's like it's not like you get to touch.
Nah,
It's free on Pornhub, just to let you guys know, and it's
pretty.
it's a whole it's free in a whole other aspect of things, not unless there's like a touch portion of it. But I don't know. It's
Yo,
just
did you hear about the shit? They made a somebody invented something where you can like it was a app or something where you could taste through the screen or some shit like that.
that's some
I
Japanese stuff. I saw that
yeah,
Japan again. Like
the
you just
motherfuckers
keep
are
on
weird.
licking it.
Like what the fuck? Yo, so eventually we're gonna be able to touch eventually, man. It's gonna happen.
Well, if you watch Big Bang Theory, they had that thing where like you kiss one part and then the other person feels the kissing also. So there, it was
Yeah.
Raj and Howard were kissing each other practically, but that was hilarious
That's
to me.
just weird. Yeah. My man says I think guys get fixated with the women of countries they travel to, then look desperate and get played. Yeah, I mean they can spot a sucker from a mile away. Don't think Filipinos are stupid. They're not. All right. In AC, women are making money for their families. It's business, never personal. Okay, yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, that's there are going to be some women that you're going to deal with that don't quite have your best interest at heart. And in AC, unfortunately, that's probably going to happen more often than not. But I don't want to believe that that's like the general consensus in other areas. In the Philippines, where it's just a business proposition and nobody's actually in it, you know, for the right reasons. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know, man. Uh, hold on. Oh, somebody blocked a comment. I had to check it out. My bad. Anyways, gentlemen, 23 in the building, man. Definitely interested to hear what you guys got to say. Are Filipinas the freakiest women in Asia? A lot of people like to believe that it's Thai women, and I'm not going to disagree with it. But from personal experiences, I would say that they definitely are some that are the most open minded women that you'll probably ever come across. I think that's a fair assessment to start, you know?
That's a very I like what you said is like they are willing to, if they're with someone they're actually in a caring relationships, they're gonna want to do stuff. And they'll
Right?
actually, if a woman really cares about you, if it's a real relationship, they're gonna ask you, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? I saw
Hmm.
this. I saw that. Okay. And then just take it from there. But yeah, I completely agree. And once again, depends on what you put out there.
Right. My man says people are going to be tasting dirty fish over the phone. if you, I'm not going there, bro. I'm not. But I know where you're coming from. It's gonna be a tough one.
They're like
Fil-
patis.
Filipinos love Japan, yet the U.S. saved the Filipinos. How ironic. Eh, historically speaking, I guess. Not a big history buff, but I know what you mean. But there is something that I've been thinking about in reference to
Mhm.
all that. Nah, never mind. We'll touch on that one another day. What's up, Mr. Diaz? Appreciate you coming through. He says South Koreans are the freakiest. That's a new name I never came across. I never considered, but
I've had Koreans pre K-pop, so I cannot answer that. I guess maybe post K-pop, it's a little bit different now. But so I'll take D Diaz's information on
I'll
that one.
take how you'll take post K-pop for 2000.
Yeah,
Hold on.
mine was
Oh
pre
man,
K-pop.
man, I'm just gonna have to. I'm gonna have to take your word for it, man. But I think it's fair to say, though, like I said, gentlemen are going to travel to the Philippines for the particular reason of, hooking up with women. That's kind of the main reason why a lot of guys go to the Philippines in the first place. And I do believe that it's not the preconceived notion. I don't want to say that, but it's the the image that has been put out there. I believe that has kind of encouraged a lot of guys to come through, check it out, see what the scene is like, and things that they've heard about the women before. Uh, as a matter of fact, there's this video that's going around, and it's particularly related to Thailand. But I don't know if you ever saw it, but there's a video that's being reacted to by a lot of different people. Zoom to Thailand. Have you heard of the channel?
That that,
Uh,
that I just saw his
Richard,
channel
Rich,
for the first
yeah,
time. That dude used to be
right,
in Martin. Like I thought I was like, doesn't this guy in Martin before or something
yeah.
like that,
I
or
think
or
his
House
name is
Party?
Richard Mack, I believe, or Richie Mack. I think
Okay.
it's his name. But there was a video that he did about the woman that he was with or the woman he was dating and how catering she was to an extent. That was what the premise of the video was about, dating women in certain areas, how catering they are and all of that stuff. And basically what I'm getting at is that particular image that's being put out there about the docile, submissive, the cooking, the cleaning, the taking care of their man. That image that has been put out there is, I do, in my personal opinion, is something that I do believe is bringing a lot of guys, or at least garnishing the attention or interest in a lot of men to actually travel, to Asia and to see what it's actually about. But I kind of feel like some of those guys are going to be disappointed. I mean, I do believe that they do put a lot of high expectations on situations before you actually get a chance to navigate your way through it. Some guys have that expectation, but they're not willing to, pick up the slack on their own, you know? So they're not going to probably do their part, but they expect everybody to fall in line and follow suit. And I think that's what you were getting at earlier on in reference to the intimacy aspect of the relationship when you were talking about, she's probably gonna want to do these things if she sees that you are, doing what you're supposed to do, right?
Mhm.
And following suit. But if you, how do you say this? If you, show a lot of empty promise, it could lead to, or it'll lead to you asking questions as to the reason why she ain't trying to do that shit with you. I see you laughing, man. Don't laugh at me. Go ahead.
No, no, I'm just thinking about a song from high school, like with 20 fingers. Like you gotta stick it before you gotta lick it before you stick
Before
it.
you stick it, you gotta
And,
make
and,
it soft and wet. Yeah.
and, and so my what I'm thinking in my head is that some guys expect to we'll just say get what they want. I'm not even saying just, but for some reason they're not willing to provide the way for it to happen. And
Hmm.
so a guy sees another guy with his life with a Filipina or a Thai woman and stuff like that, and
Hmm.
he will sometimes say, "Well, I'm just like him. When I get to the Philippines, I should be able to find this also." And the thing though is, well, what if you're not good at having a conversation with someone? What if how are you going to be able to find that person? And then you finally find you settled because that's normally what happens. You end up settling and you think that you're going to get the same thing that the other guy's experience is, and I think that that's where it's completely wrong. And I think for guys needs to be able to you know understand that that's not how it is. I mean, like, I have my 13 list of potential red flags, and a lot of guys don't like my number 13, right? And I always tell people, it's like, look, it's a red flag. I'm not saying that just because there's a flag waving, that does not mean that it's means she may have all 13 points, but that doesn't mean she's going to scam you. It's just I have a higher chance of it. So you just want to pay attention more,
What
so
was
it's
your
like,
13? What was your number 13 that had people thinking
okay,
that it was? Hmm?
you want to lessen your chances for a Filipino to scam you, and this is a red flag. I'm not saying it is, but there's a
Okay.
lesser chance. Morena women.
Oh, they didn't like that?
Yeah, a lot of guys don't
Why?
like when they're like, "Oh, you're racist." No, 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 no. I'm not being racist.
Whoa!
I'm just
I
saying
like
is,
that.
look at the
Mm.
majority of the women that scams foreigners. They're
White
morena.
skin,
They're
crib.
morena.
You said they old, so you're saying that the ones that scam the most are the Morena skin Filipinos.
Morena
Is
women.
what you're saying. Okay, okay.
So if they're morena, that means they have a
Mm-hmm.
higher chance of scamming you. So I'm just saying, just pay more attention to why. It's not me being racist, not me being classist, not me being whatever. It's just the truth. Because the poorer women are of morena skin tone. Because you're not going to have a poor woman who does, who's able to afford, unless they have a sponsor to put glutathione in their veins and stuff like that. So, you just have to pay attention. I'm not saying just because the red flag's there, that doesn't mean that that's who they are. But
Right.
number two, go-go dancer. I mean, so why would you date a girl who's a go-go dancer? So if that's in your list. Number two, her father doesn't have a job. That's a big red flag, because who's providing for the family? Guess what? You're the new daddy. So, I mean, there's so many different things. If you have that, there's just a higher chance of it. But guys tend to push those red flags away, like, not my Filipina.
There you go.
That's the word that
How
guys use. Not my Pinay.
would never it would never be mine. It couldn't be mine. Mine would never do that. Mine would never act like that. Yeah. I've
Mm-hmm.
heard that quite a lot. But Mike, I don't in the article, bro. The question is what kind of videos? No, it was Japan. It was Japanese, bro.
Mm-hmm.
He said I'm curious of what kind of porno these girls were watching, if it was straight bi or other. They weren't listing that in particular, but it was Japanese related. That's what they said. It was Japanese overall,
Yeah,
the general. They weren't specific about what kind of videos that they were watching, but
yeah. Japanese were the most searched porn, I think, pornography category. And then close to, for some reason, is hentai. So because of, so if you guys are not familiar what hentai is or manga is, those are just those freaky cartoons that Japanese people be drawing. That's got like demon schlongs everywhere and all that
fucking
stuff.
octopuses and shit. That shit had me bugged out. Fucking just tentacles everywhere. But anyways,
Exactly.
yes, crazy shit. But there is an in. How do we word this one? Because okay, let's talk about it from the U.S. perspective, and we'll try to transition it. All right. So I think I know what I was gonna say earlier, man, when we were talking about the mindset of some women and stuff. Sometimes women are just some of it's not that they're impossible, but they do things that make no sense. Let's just be real. And I think when you were talking about the mindset of how they choose, even chosen one said they're wired different. That's a great way to explain it. Because some you just can't read them, right? You may think that they're about this and they do something completely different. For example, they may have a guy who is structured, right? What's from the U.S. perspective? They have an opportunity to get with a guy who is structured, got money, all of this stuff, got his life together, got his shit together. But yet and still they will choose the other guy, the guy who don't have his shit together, the guy who's probably been out of jail a couple times and stuff like that. And it's very hard. And for me to transition that into the Philippines, you might be the stable foreigner guy, old, young, black, white, doesn't matter. But Mike, like you said, they may still have love for their own local type of guy. So the foreigner may, from a compartmentalized perspective, provide the stability, the money, the finances, but they still desire, from a more passionate, more intimate perspective, to be with their own guys. And that's something I wanted to get your thoughts on.
I mean, we have to understand who their preferences are. Filipinos would prefer a Filipino. Let's just
Mm-hmm,
put it out there, right?
mm-hmm,
And then so if we put that out there, that's going to be their preference. So one of the things is if a Filipina says she doesn't want to be with a Filipino no more because they're cheaters or scammers or whatever, whatever, that right there, run. If a woman says that to you, if a Filipina says that to you, run, 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 run. Why? It's because that's her view in a Filipino, but really it's her view in a man. And all you need to do is to anchor a feeling in her that she felt about these guys, hurting her, and you'll be in the same category. So
mm-hmm.
the thing with that is, yeah, I mean, they're gonna end up, they can end up with a Filipino. And here's the thing: a lot of foreigners will say, well, that there's 3.5% of all marriages in the Philippines are Filipinas accessing foreigners, right? Are married to foreigners.
Right.
That's the rate as of 2019. But out of the 3.5, a portion of that is Filipinas marrying foreigners or Filipinos marrying foreigners. So you take those percentage off. But what people don't understand, what foreigners don't understand, they marry foreigners, but the foreigners that they're marrying in majority are Filipino foreigners. Filipinos who became US citizens, who became Canadians, who became Australian citizens. So technically they're considered foreigners. So if you start looking at the percentages of how much really is it that they're dating who we'll say the standard, non-Filipino blood foreigners, then there's no numbers for that at this very moment, you know, um, fully. But the Filipina, yeah, I mean, Filipina, it's look at it as in the US, right?
Mm-hmm.
For women in the US will still choose a bad boy. All women want bad boys. Why do women want bad boys? Because it's called perceived strength. Because these guys have status, they have men that they lead supposedly, right? So those are mistaken as somebody who can, because women want a man who can provide, who can protect, and is a leader of men. Basic and simple. Basic coded principles of what in female thought process are. So
Mm-hmm.
you have those strong alpha dudes who are like bad boys. Well, right there, he's a protector. He can probably make money, make his own. So they see that and they like that. And then women just love to fix you
Broken
know,
guy. Yeah.
yeah, they want to fix a D. And they want a work in progress. They want a potential, not a person who is there right now. So main goal is to explain and show her a potential that you can have with her rather than saying, look at me, I got the money, that's why women love me. No, because at the very same time as if you have the money, guess what? Somebody got more money than you. And they're
True.
younger. And they have full set of hair. And
Mhm.
they have this. And they have that. So what are you talking about money? It's not about the money. Like,
Yeah.
and I hate to say this. I'll go at it. The whole Filipino, because there's a video I gotta send it to you. Where this Filipino was asking of other Filipinas, do you guys want big schlongs? And
Right. Okay.
the thing is, guys are like, yeah, that's right. Women want a guy with a big,
Hmm.
But the question you have to ask first is the wrong question. The one question wasn't asked. It's like, what's big for you? And most Filipinos are not asked that
Uh,
because guess what? They're perceived of what size they're used to. They just want something bigger than what they have now. It's the same
true.
exact thing with money. It's like, it's not about how much you want to make. No, it's how much do you want to be able to have. So I don't know. Just that's just my perception and how I've seen things in the Philippines.
Hey, that's what's up, bro. Hey, Mr. Diaz, bro, appreciate you, man. I'm gonna get to you in a second, but Mike, this is an interesting one right here, man. He says, "What are your thoughts on foreigners who travel to the Philippines to make these adult content videos? Is it
Mm.
illegal? A lot of white dudes are apparently doing it."
Yeah,
Um,
it's called
I,
cyber. It's a cyber crime. You cannot do it. Even a Filipino
yeah,
can't.
I think it's illegal. I know it's for sure it's illegal in the Philippines to do that shit. Yeah, yeah, I thought so.
Technically,
Um,
if you videotape your girlfriend during the act and you get caught with it, you're also liable because that is also against the law. So the thing
crazy.
though is, if you have any of that stuff, you know, just
Delete,
buyer
delete, or do
buyer
something.
beware. My thing is like, why do you have to videotape it? Just repeat it. Be like, let's do it again, baby. I'm like, do you
Yeah.
really need to watch it again? I'm like, don't you just want to see it happening right in front of you right now? And
I
and to
don't
be
know what it
honest,
is, man.
most guys that are making those videos are not good videographers. Like, dude, choose an angle. Choose a better angle.
Horrible, horrible lighting, bro. What the fuck?
It's
He's
called a
like,
ring light. Have a ring light. Pre-shave. I'm just do something.
the simple shit, the basic stuff. Come, yeah.
Tell her to
It,
iron her sailor's outfit at least. Like
she got wrinkles in it. It's like, goddamn, bro, you're not even doing it right. My man Big Brother says to reduce chances of getting scammed, raise your standards. I love that. Go for girls with degrees and full-time professional jobs. Damn, you going for the throat today, man. He said they tend to be honest and too proud to
love
beg.
it.
I love that right there. I've dealt with Filipinas that have probably had some serious money issues, but they would not ask me, even though I was the foreigner. And even though if they ever asked me, like there are certain girls in my life, I'm sure you have a couple in your life, that regardless of what's going on in my life, if they ever asked for something and I could do it, I would do it for them. There are a couple, maybe two. If they ever asked, I would do it, but some of them are too proud to even ask for anything, and that's usually the ones, like you said, the ones that come with either a high integrity or a high standard, or they just don't want to have that perception in the mind of the foreigner that they're scamming them or something like that. They will take out them payday loans, they will do all this extra shit before they come to you, is what I'm trying to say. Do you agree that usually the ones with the degrees and professional jobs are less likely to scam?
Of course, because they can afford it. They know that they don't need you. Like, and to be honest, is that you see this a lot where Filipinas are taking care of their men. These Filipinas who are making these money, who have a degree, they don't mind being with a guy who doesn't have more money than them. They just want a guy. So these are the girls that will take care of the guys, the younger guys and stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, I was gonna make I made already made the video, but I haven't what do you call this
Put it
thing?
out yet?
Put it out together yet. I haven't. I'm gonna launch all my new videos in a couple of days. I've been lazy. I've been doing work stuff, but
Right.
so the video that I have is to most guys are what sending buying boxes to their Filipina, right? How many
True.
guys has ever had their woman send them something in the U.S.?
I would love that. That would be awesome.
Yeah. So
Uh,
so
you
my
understand the
girl,
concept of yeah.
yeah, my girl sent me a DHL package. Sent me a DHL package. Just for her to send a DHL package via air to me cost $140. The stuff
Sounds
that
about
was
right.
inside the package was worth less than $50. So, because she sent me like chicharron, she sent me fish chips, she sent me the stuff I fucking enjoy, right? But she's willing to
Just
spend some money and DHL it to me and got it to me by before Christmas and stuff like that. So that's my thing is that if you find a Filipina who has money, she's willing to spend money on you, and when I start talking about money, I'm not talking about Filipinas who work as school teachers. And respect to school teachers, they get underpaid in the U.S. especially, underpaid in the
amen.
Philippines, underpaid all over the world. Like, let's
Yeah,
fucking be honest. They're building up the children of this world. Yeah, we're paying them poorly. Fuck it, right? Nurses get paid too much. I don't understand why nurses get paid $100,000. That's my honest. I honestly get into fights
I
with
respect what
nurses.
y'all do too, but y'all get burnt out, bro. I mean, teachers, yeah,
Man,
they get burnt out, but
but
y'all deal
yeah,
with some shit. We
well,
do too, but
but
uh,
my thing with that is that you know, get yourself a Filipino who's making somewhere around $1,500 a month. Because if she doesn't need your money, that means she just needs you.
true.
She just needs somebody to be there for security, for comfort. That's what's going to happen. And somebody who's more educated, just like what Big Brother says, somebody who's more educated are more open to the world, understanding more about cultures. The thing though is, you go for a poor person, you literally have to slowly explain to them how the world is. That's why I always say it's like if you want a good Filipino to take back home to the US, make sure she's been an OFW at least, or she's gone outside the country.
Right. Somebody who could
You know?
appreciate what it's like to work in an environment. And I would say have an appreciation for the value of the dollar. That's
Yeah.
kind of usually for those that have been in country, it's very hard for them to appreciate and understand what it's like to bust your ass day in and day out for paychecks. Like I said, sometimes you have that one person in the family that's been the OFW, they send the money home. They're just waiting every month for that money to come home, not knowing what that person on the other side of the pond or whatever it is doing, in order to get whatever they can to send back home. So I do believe that OFWs have a higher appreciation for what it's like to work in these foreign countries, and they don't just think it's just paradise and money just raining from the skies and shit, and money growing on trees and stuff. It
Hmm.
actually requires way more work than a lot of people probably more work than people are willing to show, and more work than some people are willing to appreciate.
I agree, man.
All right, Mr. Diaz, bro, I appreciate you, man. He says all I'm hearing is to never catch feelings for anybody. Okay, if that's what you feel, if that's what you're feeling, man, it's all good, man. I don't blame you guys for the decisions that you make. If you don't want to date nobody, or you don't feel like you want to be in a relationship long term, or all this shit because it makes you soft, or it makes you look like a biatch, or it makes you look like a simp, I get it. Okay, I get it. But I want you to understand something, man. I put in 10 years of what I got going on right now, man. It's been a long time. So there are certain things that I'm willing to just personally accept, because when you put in enough time into something, it's like, fuck it. If you got to do some shit just to make your girl happy, okay, I'll do that. Right? I don't trip. It comes with the territory after you put in a certain amount of time. Now, like I say, you gotta draw the line now, though. Don't be nobody's bitch, but you shouldn't be. It shouldn't be seen that when you do something nice for a female, and this is not even in a relationship or not. But sometimes you have some people who, motherfucker, you want to do something nice for a chick. Ah, man, what the fuck you doing, bro? Oh, you a simp. Oh, you one of the bitches, huh? Yeah, you want to buy your girl some chocolates? Fuck wrong with you, man? Huh? Why is she not buying you chocolates? Yeah, motherfuckers want to get mad at you. Well, you try to do. You can't do nothing nice for females at Verb. I don't know if it's a red pill thing. I don't know, man. But the minute you try to do something nice, somebody comes at me, just like comes for your throat. Like, God damn, man, I can't. I mean, shit. We went out on a date. We had a good time, man. Fuck. I mean, nigga, I tried to open her door. Oh, what the fuck you opening her door for, man? She can't open her own motherfucker. Bruh. I've had those conversations before. People get mad at you when you do something nice for a female because all of a sudden it's simpish, or you soft as shit. So I don't know,
It's
man.
called the term is red pill rage. To give you the
The
perfect
proper
word for
term.
that.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's called
Okay.
red pill rage, and I think every man who has taken the pill, who has you know tried to get into the journey of it, has nobody goes red pill without being angry at something. You become red pilled when an incident happens between a girl, incident happens with a divorce. That's pretty much when a man starts looking for that journey and stuff like that. So just giving respect to red pill guys. I give I'm red pilled. But the thing though is most men sometimes who do that stuff, where it talks, calls other people simpish, the, the words or the definitions and stuff like that. They
Right.
haven't really looked into the whole red pill community as much and never really fully understood and just paid attention to certain gurus out there. But you can be red pilled and still be in a relationship. The thing though is just that you will not tolerate certain things from women, and I think for a guy who if you're a man and you understand that you don't expect these things from girls, you let them know. And if it doesn't work out, end the relationship. Why
True.
sacrifice and suffer, out there?
All right. Touche. Simps is sugar daddies withstanding, regardless of the Filipina. Some men use money as an insurance plan of sorts. She can't leave me because I'm supporting her. Um, I know where it's coming from. I know what he's saying, but they could still leave. I mean, like we were talking about with the chosen one, man. If they find somebody who's willing to pay more, that could lead them to the arms of another guy if these are the types of women that you're dealing with, I guess. So, but I do get it though. A lot of guys believe that. Even Red, I saw your comment. You said a man should never leave with his wallet. Absolutely true. But it's like some guys kind of use their money to keep women in line, or it's they're trying to keep women in line, and
Mhm.
it never works.
Yeah.
It I don't want to say it never works, but it hardly ever sustains long term. It may work like a short term thing, but it's never really something that's going to be a long term thing for me. He says a girl in Diplo bought me lunch and a beer. I insisted I should pay because I know I make a lot more money than she does. She insisted I was the guest, but I am still feeling bad. You see, this is the shit right here that has guys ready to fall in love. I told you, man. The coconut tree. Do I have to tell you the story about the coconut girl? Because that right there changed my whole perspective on women, period. Y'all know my coconut girl story, man. Climbed up the tree, it was the best thing ever. So when you have girls who make gestures like that for you, it definitely changes your perspective. And it shows that, a girl who may not make as much money as you, but takes whatever she does make and she's willing to spend it on you. Like I said, lunch and a beer, man. Lunch could have been like 50 pesos for all we know, 100 pesos or whatever. And then the beer, it's not usually the amount of money spent. It's more or less the fact that it's just a gesture in general that definitely um that takes precedence in a situation like this. But it would probably make me feel bad too though. I mean, and that's weird though, man. Why I don't even know why I feel bad for it. I guess it's just the fact that it was unexpected. Like if I know that you were gonna give me something and you're giving me something because you tell me, yeah. But I kind of feel like I don't want to leave you. I don't want to leave you, with less pesos in your pocket because you decided to do something for me, knowing that it was something I could take care of myself. You know, should we just take the gesture and keep it pushing, man? I mean, I don't know how to feel. How would you?
Yeah,
I don't know how to address it.
like I don't even expect a woman to pay for me.
Me neither.
Like I think we had this conversation before in a previous live and stuff like that. All I want is to freaking see alligator arms. Like, just pretend that you're reaching for the freaking wallet. Like, I'd be like, oh, you want me to get this? You want, like, they have no intention to buy, but at least be like, oh, you want me to pay for this? Like, I'm like, no, I got this, I got this. Like, at least fake it, right? But the fact that this girl like straight up purchased something for Big Brother and stuff like that, that's that just be careful. Just let's see if she's gonna do it a few more times. We'll just say, but you have to look at Filipinos in general. Like, if you go up a Filipino's house that you don't belong into, like, you've been invited, and they will feed you, they will take care of you. They have this thing called, bayanihan, right? This bayanihan is like this tradition back in the days with Filipinos where, these nipa huts, the whole community will help a nipa hut move from one area to another, and they'll lift it up, they'll make it a party event, food and stuff like that. Bayanihan. And Filipinos are in general very giving, very loving, very, good people. The problem is it's the small percentage that we involve ourselves in or we surround ourselves with is sometimes the big problems. And just to answer, one of your, because you used a little bit of a profanity there, but I can say is
You
one thing,
good?
like, yes, you're gonna see a lot of Filipinas who make money. You're not gonna find it in Angeles City. But you're gonna see a lot of women. You go to Quezon City, Las Piñas. It's who you surround yourself with. I know Filipinas who are who has millions of dollars. I know a lot of Filipinos who has Lamborghinis, all that kind of stuff. It's who you surround yourself with, sir. And so that's the
Crazy with
thing.
Jason. Woo.
$1,500 is not a lot of money for Filipinas. They're making that in call centers. They're making that, in marketing companies and all those things. They're making that. But if you're finding yourself a Filipino who only makes $300 because you give her $300, that is not her making money.
Mm. Gotcha. Mm. I know where you're coming from, bro. Yeah, I've not probably not as many as you, but I've known a couple that have. It's surprising how rich some Asians are. Are we lagging? Oh shit, Mike, you good? I think Mike might be lagging. I'm sorry. I thought you were finished, bro. Just let me know when you come back. But yeah, I get where he's coming from. My man Brandon, I saw you. I saw you deleted it, bro. But it's all good. But yeah, man, you can't even buy a drink in the U.S. without somebody looking at you like you're crazy. Mike, I'm trying. There you go. I got you, bro. Let me get you back on. So let me hold on, Mike. I'm gonna bring you on. Give me a second. There you go. All right. My
Yeah, like
bad.
so. Well, no,
Go
that's
ahead.
my fault actually, because like I wasn't ready for this. I wasn't doing any videos for this whole week, so like I totally like just I was like
You
my
just
my computer was in charge, so now I'm in, man.
all right. Go ahead. No, I finish your statement, man. I know you were talking and it kind of dropped out on us. I thought you were done talking, but go ahead. I
Oh no,
forget where you
just
left
talk
off.
about money. I mean, there's a lot of
Yeah,
Filipinos making good money, man. I mean,
there are.
and the thing though, guys need to stop thinking that they're not making any money. You'll be surprised. But some guys just know what their level is. Some men, unfortunately, men want women who make less than them. It's just commonplace. And so like what Big Brother says is increase your standards, then
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna find better women if you increase your standards if you want to. But if you
Dang,
go for the lower standards than you, that's the problem. Most men can't handle a woman who makes more money than them. It shrinks their
that's a
bones.
tough, that's a tough one for a lot of guys. I know. I would love
Mhm.
that. We should. I know I've touched on that one time before by myself, but we should definitely try to do a topic on that one. Are you comfortable with your woman making more money than you? I mean, as a Filipina, you got to understand, man. Like for me,
Mhm.
the way I look at it is if you hypothetically bring your girl from the United States to, I mean, bring your girl from the Philippines to the United States. Let's say she's a nurse. You got to understand her salary when it comes through that it's a high potential chance she's gonna kill you financially. Like she's gonna make a pretty decent amount of money. You just have to
Mhm.
understand that. Are you comfortable with your woman making more money than you? A lot of guys are not. And I think that's that mindset, like you said, man, not necessarily shrinking your balls, but the fact that you can no longer use your money to control the situation after that. Because she can
Mhm.
leave and do whatever the fuck she wants after that. So if that is the case, what exactly are guys looking for? Because a lot of guys will say sometimes you're just looking for a girl that'll care for you, but sometimes you're looking for somebody you can take care of as well. I mean, I guess the way you think about care financially from the guy side, care, taking care of the household from, the female perspective, maybe. But when you think about the idea of looking for somebody to take care of, would you feel emasculated if a woman made more money than you? Well, Mike, I'm so well.
No.
Let me take it back. No, let me stop. I know you make a good, decent amount of money. Okay, but let's hypothetically say that you were working a job that pays you $30,000 to $40,000 a year, and your wife comes through. She's clearing 60 to 80 thousand. Right? Do you feel emasculated in the fact that your woman makes more money? Would it
No,
make you
not
feel
at
a
all.
way?
Because just like what Big Brother says, I made the honest decision when I was
Mhm.
25 to say that it's not about their status in regards for money. It's like go for the, why should I go for sevens when I can go for eights? So like, it didn't matter to me. It's how you control yourself as a man and talk to women and to be able to, put the guard down or put the law down, saying that these are things that I won't accept. But the thing though is a lot of
Mhm.
guys have these expectations of women, but then when they cross the line, they let them continue, and then it keeps on going. So the thing though is with the money thing is I think a lot of men make this mistake. American women or Western women will say has that problem in regards it's difficult to be with a woman that makes more money than men because Western women are more masculine leveled because just how the feministic movement is. So they will then
Mhm.
sometimes look down on men who make lesser than money. That's why most women will have the hypergamistic thing of 6-figure income earner, six-pack abs, 6 foot tall, you know, minimum a
Okay.
6-inch dick. So don't take that belief
Gotcha.
to the Philippines because it's not that way in the Philippines.
Hmm.
They may have some hypergamistic levels, but they're more feminine. So
Okay.
it kind of goes, and I explained this before in a previous video, but you
Hmm.
have to understand that they're more feminine in the Philippines. But women tend to make more money than men in the Philippines because they have more opportunity than men.
So you don't believe that it changes the perspective of the Filipina? Let's say she is in the United States and she is making more money. You don't think that it changes her perspective, not necessarily as you as a man, but what her position is now that she is, for lack of a better term, primary bread. Not, I wouldn't even say primary breadwinner, but the one that's making the most money in the household. You don't think that it changes their perspective? Again, I know I'm asking you to
Yeah.
think about when taking into consideration female perspective or female nature, but you don't think that it would change their mind? We are in a different land. I mean, being in the West isn't always the best of places.
Mhm.
In all things considering, you don't think that it will affect them? I mean, just in a general sense, because I know everybody's individually different.
Yeah, everybody's individually different. I would say it's like it depends on the type of woman that you end up with. Now,
Hmm.
here's the problem is that if the woman is more controlling when technically you still have more money than she is,
Yeah, it's gonna
right?
be a problem.
You have to
Right.
assess that, right? If she controls the house a little bit, you better not make her have her make more money because she will put you down like she'll put you down like an empty bag of chips. So it's like,
Hmm.
if you have to pay attention to her mannerisms. Does she
Right.
get upset easily? Is she able to have confrontation with men? Like if you see her like having arguments with men, like I'm like, oh, red flag. I was like, because if you think you can do this to other men,
The fuck
when
you gonna do to me?
opportunity comes, you're gonna do this to me unless I know
For
how to be
sure.
able to put my stuff to rest. So
Right.
you know that those type of women will what they call Filipinas, who like to put their men below them. So that the controlling Filipinas are called well, the men who gets controlled by Filipinas are called under the saya. So
Okay.
if you call when you call a man, if a Filipina calls a man under the saya is a traditional Filipina garb. It's that little thing that they put over their like a shawl type of thing, like a Filipiniana.
Okay.
So that's a saya. That the whole outfit is a saya. So if you are under the saya, that means she's over you. So
Okay.
so you don't want to get the definition, and a lot of foreigners get that definition. Go to TikTok, you're like, oh, look at my afam, he's under the saya. They'll like straight up talk about it. These are the guys that are giving money to the Filipinas and stuff like that. And so if
Right.
you are of value, you have the value to give her, and she's already still controlling you because the power of the punani is strong in her in this one. And guess what? When she
She's
makes more
hungry.
money than you, just know your position.
True. Big brother, man, appreciate you, man. Happy Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you too as well. My man Roy Joe says if she makes more money than me, she can support me, and there is no problem with that. I feel the exact same way.
Hey,
I'm telling you, man.
sure.
I've been told you, man. I've been waiting to retire, man. Shit. But it's a beautiful thing when you hear. It's amazing that if you're dealing with certain people, you'll hear them even say, "Oh, I can't wait to be able to, if I have this, I can't wait to do this for you." Like, and and it's not as if it's coming off like she's trying to buy you or whatever. But she, like, if she knows that you like some shit, girls will say things that are just that they don't really pick up on, but as a man you hear it. But sometimes guys pay attention, they don't. They're like, oh, I can't wait to do this, or when I do this I'm gonna make sure I get this for you, or I'm gonna do this for you. Or sometimes the fact or the reason that they're getting money is so that they can do nice things for you as well. They'll say it. They it may not come off as if they're saying it directly to you, but you'll hear them say it in their head, like, oh, I know you always wanted this, and I'll get it for you, or I can't wait to get this for you because I know it'll make you happy. So you do have some women, regardless of the amount of income they bring in, they haven't forgotten, depending on how your relationship is and the status of your relationship, they haven't forgotten the types of things that they would want to do for you as well. Or they're always thinking about you first, about what they could do for you first before they, do certain things for themselves. So you do have some women out there like that. And are they few and far between? I don't think so. It just depends on, like I said, what you really got going on in your own situation.
I agree.
Uh, if a Filipino makes more money than you in the Philippines, then maybe you are too broke, or you punched away above your weight, or punched way above your weight. Not many people make over 2K a month in the Philippines. I think okay, I know where you're coming from, but I think what we were talking about is if you bring your woman to the United States. Yes, if your woman makes more money than you in the Philippines and you're a foreigner, I I genuinely don't know what to say. I just think you need to go back home. Would she mind is the question. I don't care if she works at Burger King or if she is a lawyer, as long as she respects me. Touche. Yeah, I agree, man. It's good. There's got to be respect. Like I said, her what she brings in doesn't necessarily equate to anything because look, there are gonna be girls that'll make more than you. There are gonna be girls who just work at Popeyes or whatever the fuck, man. It just depends on what she can do and what she's willing to do and what you're willing to sometimes even allow her to do. Like some guys will say, nah, that may not be the job for you. If she's willing to hear you say that, that's the thing too. But I don't want it to feel like it's a dominant thing, like you gotta tell her what to do. But I mean, I don't know, man. But to be honest, I realized this, and I think the person I heard say this the most was Kevin Samuels. A guy really don't give a fuck about how much money you make, and genuinely, we don't. I could care less what your income is. I could care less what your salary is. I'm not with you because you're gonna make millions of dollars, because I could, hopefully you're in a position to be able to make those moves yourself. There are some guys who date women who have promise and potential because they need that. But for most guys, we don't really care what you do for a living, as long as it's something where we're both, happy, as long as you're happy. But
I agree.
yeah, I'm just reading comments, man. I'm gonna go ahead and kill it in a minute. My man says my ex Filipina had 4K USD. He said you couldn't tell a shit in her mind. She was the richest person on earth. I've had girls like that too. He said I never tell a girl our true net worth. Filipinas care too much about money. Some do, not all. If a Filipina makes more than you, your life ain't right. Um, in the Philippines, yes. In the U.S., it's not that hard for them to make more money than your average. I mean, I hate to bring this up, but I'm gonna do it anyways. But some of my Hispanic friends are killing it. Trades, construction, and stuff like that. Those particular industries that pay well, they're making way more money than your average. Because they're in an industry that kills it. So it's not. I want to tell you that it's not surprising for me to have somebody come from an entirely different place, entirely different country or state or whatever it may be, and kill it. Coming to the United States. So that doesn't surprise me, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
but to add to that, Filipinas, it is not even the new norm. It's been the norm in the Philippines where Filipinas make more money than men. So it's not, just how do you see that? Let's even take it to the bar girl method. If you go
Go
for the
for it.
bar girls, who provides for the family? Does the guy sleep around to provide money for the family and table? No, the Filipina goes out there and makes the money to provide for the family. That's even on the bottom of the barrel level. Take it to the
Hmm.
OFW portion of things. You know, Filipinas are making more money. If you look at nurses in the US and Canada and Australia and UK, they're making more money than their Filipino husband who's a fake realtor, you know? And that's, I think, is where a lot of people have those problems. I think so it's a normal thing. And because Filipinas know that that's a normal thing, that they will make more money than men, they're willing to accept men who make less money than they are. The problem is most men don't want that. as all over the world, most men feel emasculated if their woman makes more money than them. The guys who
Hmm.
don't mind being the guy who makes less money than the woman are the guys that are going to be players to have fun with these Filipinas or with women. So
Hey.
this is the thing where men need to understand it's not about the money. It's the other aspects of what you look for in a Filipina. The thing though is most guys are translating their vision of what they see about women in the West and think that that applies to Filipinas. It does to a certain extent, but you have to understand certain dynamics that kind of changes between that.
Right on. I agree, man. I feel where you're coming from with that one. My man says, I'm glad I'm beyond the red and the black pill. I care not what money she has or what she does because she can't be replaced. Yeah, it is what it is. Quick question though. All right, I guess this is for both of us. How do y'all maintain your long distance relationships? LDRs just seem so foreign to me during these times. I was with mine a long time, man. So prior to us being separated, we were together for a long time together. So the fact that we are apart, it's kind of like it's a communication thing, man. You just got to make sure you
Mhm.
just set your time, set time for it. Because Filipinos just want to feel like if you're in a relationship, I know most of y'all could care less about them, but what I've learned is in a relationship, they just want to know that you see it, like that you still care, like you still willing to do something from them, like just like hearing from you, like. Oh, my man's calling me today. Let me get by my phone real quick or make sure I'm in a place where I got great internet, whatever. They just, they're excited to hear from you and you just got to give them that time. That's pretty much all it is for me. I make sure that I haven't sent her a Balik Bayan box. That's because I don't like them shits. But like, I'll definitely, if she wants something, I don't mind getting it for her, like buying it on Lazada and have it shipped there or whatever it may be, if that's the case. But you know, genuinely, it's more or less about the time you give them while you're away. For me, at least, it's just being present when you need them. I mean, she's not taking as long as she's not taking away from the money, and I'll let her know. Like if I'm really working on something, I'll let her know. I'll call her back. But for the most part, she don't really trip over shit like that. I
Mhm.
don't know what it's like for you, Mike. I mean, and like I said, do things to keep her busy as well. That's what I've learned too, man. She's got to be busy. Got to be busy. Because if she's got that, what is it, idle mind, idle hands, whatever, and she's just worried about what you're doing all day, it's gonna drive you crazy. Because she's gonna be driving you crazy while you're supposed to be doing what you're supposed to be doing. So, yeah.
I completely agree. Like, like my girl right now, she they're because the Omicron and stuff like that. She's like, oh, they want us to do work from home. And I'm like, no. Like, do you have the choice? She's like, yeah, I can work at home or I can stay at the office. I was like, you should stay at the office. I said, because you work better there. You just sleep when you go home. You're not going to whatever. And I'm like, remember, you want to be productive. You don't want to go home, then all of a sudden feel like you're done with work. Then they can call you. You're still back at work. You want to do everything at work. Right. And
Hmm.
she's like, yeah, I realized that. But the whole realization of that is because I made that happen. Because if she stays at home, she's going to want to talk.
All day.
She's gonna want to talk, and I have my busy stuff, right? So that's a problem.
Hmm.
Number two is, this is something I learned back in the days from one of the most brilliant guys ever, my best friend Jess, right? So it's called the pro flowers problem. So if you guys ever, in the US we have pro flowers, FTD, 1-800 flowers, whatever, but pro flowers. What you do so that you never make a mistake is you have your budget. And I used to do this like when I was dating. It's like when your tax returns comes in, I will buy all the flowers that I need to ahead of time. I'm talking about birthdays. I'm talking about anniversaries. So I already bought all my flowers for the whole year. And then
Hmm.
if we break up, I just have to cancel them. So it automatically censors something. And so guess what? Technically, I put the feelings in there. Technically, I put the thoughts in there. I just did it in a one-time deal. So good example. She's not going to hear about this because it's not my channel. And and so this is what I did. So they have these things called gift boxes in the Philippines. Like, so what I did was this. I know I was going to be gone till March. Okay. So what I did was I went to a dude that does all that stuff, him and his wife, and I said, hey, listen, I need boxes sent to her on random effing days. I want a $10 box. I want a $15 box, $5 box, and I want it shipped to her, delivered to her. So every certain amount of days, sometimes every 10 days, every 15 days, every 20 days, she's going to get a specialty box coming from me that doesn't cost that much. But guess
True.
what? It's the thought that counts. Now, if I set the
Oh, yeah.
boxes where it gets delivered every 15th of the month, she's going to realize what's up. So no. So I spend maybe what, $30 a month just on boxes? Plain and simple. And guess what? If you want to send a woman flowers, send a woman flowers, but then don't be spending too much. There's a lot of companies in the Philippines that'll deliver really good. For less than $15, you get a dozen roses and stuff like that. That's if you're in a long-term relationship. The next thing is
Always.
food. Send them food. You know, how can you send them food? Easily, right? How did I handle that stuff? I found my favorite Grab driver who always delivers me food. He's delivered to me several times, and I said, hey, listen, I need you to bring her food at certain times. I'm going to send you the money. I want you to deliver her the food. Dude agrees. I send the money to PayPal. I send her, like, you know, if I know she's hungry, she's working late a little bit, I'll have food delivered to her condo, you know, every like 2 to 3 weeks. Cost me less than $5-6 for, you know, to have something brought to her. Jollibee, Mang Inasal.
There you go.
So it's about, you know, what I'm doing that's different, you know?
And dude, you can't lose there, man. Girls like gifts. I mean, the simple shit.
Pre-plan, man. Pre-plan.
Always. Must have.
That's why those
I knew I was going to be.
fools who didn't pre-plan, you know, got stuck in a debt typhoon and stuff like that because they didn't pre-plan. I'm just saying, pre-plan, damn it.
Bruh, man, they living in. I don't. I'm pretty sure they told them to get out earlier, didn't they? For a lot of them, I'm not sure.
Oh yeah. They told to get out.
And they stayed though.
Not gonna listen.
That's tough, man. All right, so the question is, what do you think about the guys who hate on people with passports? I don't think about them, bro. That's the best question. Brandon, I don't think about them at all. If you want to hate on me because I have a fucking passport and I choose to travel and you don't, I do feel like deep down inside, they are probably the ones that wish they could travel, but there's probably a reason why they can't. Whether they got charges, whether they got child support issues. Usually there are a lot of reasons why guys can't travel. I didn't know this because I never had these issues, but there are reasons that will keep you grounded or keep you from being able to get a passport. So for those that hate on people who actually do have passports, the only thing I can think of is I don't think about it. You know, I live my best life, you know, accordingly. And if you're gonna spend your days thinking about what I do with my passport, I don't know what to tell you, bro. So they can keep that. They can have that energy if they want to. I can't reciprocate. You know, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I had a guy make a comment the other day. He goes, "Oh man, can you believe this? The U.S. they increased the price on passports."
I heard that about $20.
And I'm like, $20? Your excuse to have problems is $20? I said, in the end, I go, listen, you could have gotten your passport last year, right? But no, so now you have to pay the penalty. That's just how it works. Prices go up. I told the guy, I was like, are you gonna use this excuse not to go to the Philippines? Because guess what? You can't leave the US anywhere without a passport. So, you know, what's your decision? Or is $20 hard for you? Is my question. If it is, you shouldn't be leaving the country anyways, or be thinking about it, or be watching videos about what you're gonna do to go someplace. You know, so it's like, you know, and people I think hate on people because they wish that they did that or they could do what other guys are doing. That's where hate comes from, anyways.
Most of it. My man says he's gonna grant me an exclusive interview someday. I will wait for the day, sir. I will wait for that day. My man says Filipinos love surprise food deliveries. Boy, if you feed your female, man, you are golden. I'm sorry. Filipinos love food over flowers, man. If you can feed them, and Mike, you set it up random times and shit, just ask her when she hungry and get it right. It ain't always the same shit. Oh, you want mangina Saturday? I got you. You want Jollibee today? As long as you know your girl's meal of choice, like what she likes to eat, chances are, even though they don't care, man, they'll take it regardless. Because A, it's free, and B, it's the thought that counts, man. And yes, Mike out here making us look real bad, ain't he?
It doesn't cost that much. I'm not trying to make you look bad. I'm just saying, I pre-plan. Look. What do you want? The worst stuff. You don't want tampo face to face. The worst tampo is when it's fucking virtual. When you're like, you can't even get the food. No, like I had a big F up like literally like a week ago. So I went one of the biggest F ups, right? So if this was me and not my normal thinking, I'm like, I called my dude up right away. I'm like, hey bro, I need an emergency delivery right now. I need sashimi. I am like, we doubling up on the money today. I'm like, we spending $12 today. I'm like, we need sashimi. We need, we need this. I need you to swing by and grab a cupcake. He's like, yes, sir, Mike. Go handles his stuff. He does all that stuff. And guess what? I pay him 150 pesos for delivery. Because normally he'll get paid 50 pesos to 80 pesos by Grab. I give him 150 to 200 pesos tip for him to do that. He uses his own money to buy these things for me. Because that's how Grab drivers do it. So it's just pre-planning is one of the most important things. I think most guys don't pre-plan stuff. I'm pre-planning tampo sessions. I'm pre-planning, be like, you're not giving me much attention. Right? So it's like,
I got something for that. I got something for that. I got you. Yeah. Good shit, man. Just in case for those, like I said, man, this ain't for everybody, man. This is definitely for relationships and definitely long-term relationships or relationships that have, a high potential chance of lasting longer than one night only. These are people you genuinely care about. And when you care enough, you put the thought process into, things like this. So, hey, sounds like good shit to me. My man says Big Brother says, anyone who hates you for having a passport, which is just an ID in the end, he is a bottom feeding loser and should not get your attention. Hate for passports. I think the idea of hating people with passports comes from the fact that a lot of these guys are using that passport to go overseas and, deal with women there. And, you start to hear them talk about, oh, you only go there because you can't deal with women in the United States or you can't get women here. So that's why you guys choose to travel. So that's usually the general consensus that comes with hate with a passport. Like I said, I'm not thinking about them and they have no reason to think about me. So if you don't like me, it's cool. If you don't like the fact that I travel, it's cool too. If you think that I travel because of any other reason than the fact that I just enjoy traveling, visiting new places and, experiencing new things, females included, then that's just, I can't help how they feel about us. It's just what you expect me to do. I can't help how you feel, and nor can I change how you feel about why I do what I do. Because once people have their minds made up, man, it's very hard to change it. I just realized that. Once people, like I said, once people put it in their minds that they don't like my channel or they may have some naysayer things to say about things, it's very difficult to change their mind. So don't try. Fuck it. Keep doing what you're doing. That's the best thing I can tell them. U.S. is overcharged for our borders. Huh? I'm sorry, I missed that. You said the U.S. is overcharged for our borders. Is that for people coming in or us getting up? I missed it. I might need clarification on that one. My man says they are just jealous because they are because they are stuck. I believe he said it's not your problem. Exactly. Fuck 'em. What you want me to tell you, bro? Fuck it. I don't care. Oh, you don't like that I travel? Okay. I don't like that you sit still. Like, does that make sense? I don't. You don't like that I travel. I don't like that you sit there and worry about what I do. Oh, you're talking about inflation taxes? Well, inflation's really that's a long story, man. But shout out to my man Steve, man. Appreciate you coming through, bro. He said if the passport can get me to the to the proper young ladies, then I intend to use it. Not mad at you. Not mad at you at all. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've been on for a long ass time, man. 2 hours. That's a long time. Time for me to go to bed. All right, Mike. Tell everybody where they can find you if they're not already familiar, man.
Yeah, I mean, just look up Mike's Philippine Journey. You'll find me over there. So just swing on by. We got lots of stuff. We'll be launching new videos actually tomorrow. So I'm back to the new videos coming out. So I'm doing like a whole week of Tulfo stuff, man.
This is TOEFL Tuesdays? Nope, it's
I'm
TOEFL
doing
only.
a full week of Tulfo. Because I'll translate everything and everything. But dude, the one that's coming up is I'm not gonna have it tomorrow. It's 2 days from now. A Filipina scammer end up committing suicide because the dude was trying to get his money back. That's some crazy stuff right there.
Ah, shit.
and they're going after Tulfo right now. Like Tulfo had to remove the video because
Wow.
it's
Shit.
a big scandal right now. Just literally happened a week and a half ago. Just look it up, Adora, Adora, then Rafi Tulfo. You'll see a lot of the response videos going on. But a girl committed suicide, man, because the guy exposed her in Tulfo, and so she's like 25 million pesos, house and everything. So it's gonna be
She
interesting.
ain't gonna pay for this. She ain't gonna never give that shit back. Yeah. I love to see how that
That's
play
why
out.
she's long
Ladies and
gone.
gentlemen, that's crazy. But it doesn't surprise me. I mean, I think when you get caught up and you realize that there's probably no way out of it, I don't.
Mhm.
I mean, why am I not surprised? I know that sucks, man. But why am I not surprised that somebody might actually choose that as a way out? Especially in the Philippines. Like, if you're really caught up, it sucks. But yo, videos coming out of my man Mike's channel, man. Check it out all week. Tofo. I don't want to call it Tofo Tuesdays because it's fucking all week. But anyways, guys, I appreciate you locking in. Yeah, shout out to Rafi Tofo. That man is giving me some great content. He's
Yeah,
giving a
it
lot of
is.
foreigners some great content. If you follow him, he's like I think he is the biggest YouTuber in the Philippines. I believe he's got the biggest channel. So it
He's
doesn't
one of
even
them. Yeah.
matter. He's like the fucking Jerry Springer of like the Philippines, man. Dude's classic. But again, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys locking in, man. Appreciate the support, the love, man. Videos coming out soon. Not sure when, but we appreciate you locking in, man. And it's time for us to go ahead and get to getting, man. So with that being said, Good Doc and Company, we are officially out at least Sneko, Paalam, which means we. I'm sorry, that shit usually but we are going now. All right, bye bye as always, man. We love you guys. Sincerely do. Makita, mabuhay. Peace.